Good evening. The Concord Township Board of Zoning Appeals for October 14th, 2020 is now in session. I would like to introduce my board. To my far left is Skip Sweeney and Todd Goling. I'm Ivan Valentik. To my right is Chris Jarrell and Blair Hamilton. To our far right is Heather Freeman, our zoning inspector. Under the advice of counsel, we ask that anyone speaking tonight must be sworn in. If you plan on speaking, please stand and raise your right hand so you can present tonight. Thank you. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help me God. If so, say I do. Thank you. Please be seated. When presenting your case and commenting this evening, come to the microphone and state your name and address, and also please confirm you've been sworn in, okay? Heather, were the legal notices published in a timely manner?
Yes, they were.
Okay, thank you. We have two variances tonight. A 3-vote majority is required to either approve or deny a variance request. First is variance number 2018-41. Oh, I'm sorry, that's old business. Sorry, variance number 2020-66. Stephen Mitch is requesting a variance from section 15.03A6 to allow for the construction of a third accessory building on a lot less than 2 acres in lieu of the maximum one permitted for lots less than 2 acres for the property located at 7547 Kellogg Road, current parcel number 08-A-027-0-00-051-0. Mr. Mitch, please come up to the microphone.
Hi, my name's Steve Mitch. I live at 7547 Kellogg Road. I have been sworn in. I'm not real familiar with the process. If there's any type of objections, will I have an opportunity to come back and talk about those, or?
If you'll present your case, we'll ask you questions.
Okay.
And then we'll ask if there's anybody that has either supporting or against the appeal that would like to speak. And then once we close the case though to the public, and then there's no further comment from you. So.
And if there's people that choose to speak, would I have an opportunity to address their concerns?
Yes.
After that?
Yes.
Okay. I built I had a pool built. In the back of the house, and I spent about $85,000. It's an in-ground pool. It's a saltwater pool with a heater. I added some additional concrete around the pool, and I'd like to put a pool building next to the pool house, or I'm sorry, a pool building next to the pool itself, next to the deck. My lot is 1.92 acres, just shy of the 2-acre minimum. The lots around me are similar in size. The one to the right of me is over 2 acres, and the one to the left is under 2 acres, but I believe it's about 1.5 acres. They're larger lots where we're at. So the houses are not real close together, and I think the pool is a significant upgrade for the property, and I'd like to add the pool house as part of that compartment. I have a large building on the lot already. It's about 2,000 square feet, and I park I've got cars. I've got classic cars in there, and then I also I rent residential real estate, so I keep appliances, spare appliances and stuff like that in there as well. Then there's a smaller building that I keep all my lawn equipment in. So the pool house would sit right at the edge of the concrete, and I have one in my page here, I did make a mistake. At the bottom of the page it says it's visible to one house 400 feet away through trees. It's not 400 feet away. It's actually 153 feet away. So I wanted to be clear about that. When I wrote that up, I just, to be honest with you, I didn't even measure it. The houses were so far away, I just kind of threw that number out there. The neighbors let me know that it's not 400 feet away, and I absolutely agree with that. So I went out there and I measured it. I just want to be clear and upfront about that. So it is 153 feet away from the only house that can actually see the building once the building will be it would be installed. I talked to them about the building, and they had some concerns about it, and I'm willing to plant 6-foot arborvitaes all around the building to completely conceal it. If their concern is looking at the building, which I believe that's what we were talking about. They indicated that it might be better if I put it in between my other buildings, but if I do that, I won't have access to my backyard for like tractors and stuff like that I need to get back there. So that's pretty much it. The building itself, I was going to stain and shingle like the house itself to match it and all that, and the aluminum fence would right up next to it. Shannon Fence is coming out Friday to put the fence up. So I believe that's it.
And I drove by and I was trying to, it's hard to see. I saw the large structure garage that's there.
Right.
Looks like that was even added on at one point. Then I couldn't see this other structure that's existing out there.
Right.
So, so you don't feel like there's any way, that you could take this and add it to one of those existing structures at all?
Some additional pictures.
Sure. You want to start with Blair there at the far?
So the page one, what you're looking at is the largest building, accessory building on the lot. That's the one that's 2,000 square feet where I keep the cars in. It's an old building. It's probably close to 100 years old, so it's not the most ergonomically efficient building. It's still got great value to me. The two doors that you see, the two garage doors, I can park 2 cars in straight in through there, and then I can park one in the back. So page 2 is the door on the right-hand side. It's looking straight in there. Page 3 is the door on the left-hand side, looking straight in there.
I didn't get those.
Are you talking about this one?
No, there's numbers on the pages.
I got a 7 and a 9
Oh, I don't have that
I
one.
have
got,
110.
and a 10.
I don't have that set. I got this set. Can I have that packet? I'm missing the second packet.
So this is the barn, the number 1.
Right.
Yeah, the big
That's
building.
that one.
Yeah.
Here. Can I see yours? You got it?
Oh, I've got that one.
You have 9 and 10.
Yes, I have 9 and 10.
Extra 9 and 10. Okay.
That's
I
the.
think Chris was still, I don't know if you still have.
We're sharing it, so I can
We're
let you know.
sharing.
Okay, so page 1 is the front of the building. Page 2 is the right-hand door looking straight in. Page 3 is the left-hand door looking straight in. Page 4 is the back of the garage where I can park 1 car long ways along the back. Page 5 is the middle of the garage. It's used as like a tool area. Page 6 is the left-hand part of the garage in front of that man door. It used to be an apartment. I turned it into a climate-controlled race center. At any rate, that explains that building. The second building is page 7 and 8. Page 7 is the front of the building. I open the door, and when you look in there, that's all the lawn equipment that I need to maintain the property. There's some tractors, log splitters, push mowers, snow blowers, those type of items, weed whackers. So that's what I use that for. Page 10 is the actual view to the neighbor's house. If you're standing in the proposed section where I'd like to put the pool building, that's the view of the neighbor's house as it currently sits with the foliage. But like I indicated to them, I would be more than willing to actually plant arborvitae around the entire, building to conceal it if, because their concern was they didn't want to look at the building. They were okay if I put it in between the other two buildings, but they didn't want to look at it. They didn't want it over where I wanted to put it.
What's in the upstairs of the big building?
I believe it used to be for like hay and stuff, but right now there's just personal belongings. This house has a in-law suite. I moved in there about a year and a half ago. My parents are elderly, and they weren't able to take care of themselves anymore, so we all moved into this building. And my dad used to own an antique store on Vine Street, so everything that he had is a treasure, and it takes up the entire top of the barn.
Mr. Mitch, you already have over twice the allowed square footage in your district, And it seems to me, it's going to be very candid, that if you cleaned up your buildings and the belongings inside, you would have 200 square feet easily.
Right. So you suggest that like I put the pool equipment next to the 60 Eldorado or the Mercedes?
It's your choice.
That's the recommendation. That's my concern,
Well, I'm just saying, you give us these pictures and there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
And there's a lot of stuff upstairs.
Right.
And you've already got over twice the allowed square footage. I understand that you're close to 2 acres, but you haven't made any attempt to move things around your pool's right there.
Yeah, the pool's about 35 feet away from the building.
I have a theory. It's called the big purse theory. And what that theory is the bigger the purse you have, the more stuff you put in it.
Right.
So I just think that, and it's my opinion, we will decide, based on our factors here, but you're asking for a pretty big variance and you haven't made any effort to clean anything up to make room. So you're putting a third accessory building there, and what is that giving you?
Well, each unit has its own own compartment in that. I have my house is large, and I've got a clothes dresser, but I don't just because I have room in my family room doesn't mean it belongs there. So with
Did you use your pool this summer?
Well, it was just done about a month ago, and we used it probably a dozen times since then.
Where did you keep your toys?
We don't have any. We're not buying anything till the spring till we get this all worked out.
Okay.
We don't really have anywhere to put it.
So, the square footage is a struggle, and really understanding where the hardship is difficult to see right now. And I get back to, you have 2 structures already.
Right.
Making room in them is one option. The other thing is, it sure looks like that you could expand that smaller building and not have 3 buildings on the site. Did you really look at that as an option instead of adding a 3rd building to the site?
Would I need a variance for that to make the building larger? Would we be right back to this again, or?
Heather, would he need a variance for the square footage if he's already over?
What is the square footage of the smaller building?
I believe it's 12 by 24.
It's 336,
In total, he's way over the whole
Yeah.
square footage already.
way over.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Todd or Skip, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Mitch,
Yeah.
thank you for coming tonight. This building that you want to put, well, it serves solely as a storage.
Right.
Will it serve any purpose for, say, like changing or a cabana type situation where you would go in and change clothes or put a couple chairs in there or something like that?
Well, the plan is to put the pool cover in there, all the chairs, you know, the barbecue grill, everything that's out on the deck. You know, the deck is going to be enclosed, fenced in. We're going to put this right, you know, there so that all the items from, you know, that area of the property goes right into the pool house. So that would mostly entail, you know, the pool furniture and the storing the cover through the time when we're using the pool, and so items like that. But we're not gonna, I don't plan on putting like a lavatory or a changing room or anything like that in there whatsoever. It was just gonna be used, you know, to keep a place for, you know, the items that were on the pool deck.
Okay, thank you.
Todd, do you have any questions? Claire?
No, I think I'll hold my comments for later. I guess I will say it. I mean, to follow up what Chris had indicated, the problem to me seems it could be resolved by some other manner, other than having to put another building in. There is quite a bit of square footage there available. I'm sure it can be utilized in a better way, and that granting the variance is a real stretch for us because of the square footage involved.
Right.
Okay. Okay, we'll call you up if you have any other questions. Is there anyone else here that is speaking for or against or for this appeal that would like to come up? Okay. The other thing, I just want to make sure that the board has seen the letter from the neighboring property. We received some communication that's part of our, you know, consideration as well. Also, then I'll just give the option if there's anyone here that would like to speak against the appeal. If they want to come up, they can speak. If not, we will move on. Okay, no one else speaking against appeal. Heather, is it okay to open up the discussion for the board, or should we close it to the public first in case anybody wants to? If we close it to the public, we can't ask Mr. Mitch any more questions, correct, or comments? Is it okay to keep it open but have a motion so we can have open discussion, or should I just close it right now?
Stephanie, did you?
I can't obviously see if there's anybody else that's for those in favor and against. Are you talking if the property owner wants to come back up?
Yes, or if anyone wants to speak again with him.
I would not make a motion while you're doing the discussion. The motion should really be made once the discussion is completed. But if you have any more inquiries for him, you certainly could do that now.
I do have a question for Mr. Mitch.
Can you come back up, sir?
Yeah, sorry. So you stated you moved into the in-law suite. Is this your parents' home or your home?
It's my house.
Your house. Okay. I just need some clarification on that. Thank you.
Okay. So it sounds like I'll just, since there's no more questions, the public hearing for application number,
You can leave it open and still have some discussion if you think you're going to need to ask the applicant something else. You don't have, that's what Stephanie's saying, just don't make a motion yet.
okay, I'd rather wait on that because I feel like this group might have more questions, but I could be wrong. All right, can I get then a motion to approve variance number 2020-66?
So moved.
Second. I thought we were gonna make a.
Okay, we're not, okay, so we can just, sorry, never mind. All right, open discussion on the board, my bad. I'll just start, I struggle with the square footage, not the number of, the number of units is one thing. You know, it's close to the acreage, but then we're blowing the square footage out of the water, and I'm having a hard time seeing a hardship to look at anything.
I don't really see a hardship either, and I agree with I echo your sentiments.
Well, my first thought was the smaller 12 by 24 building. When I looked at that, I do love me some lawnmowers. I will say that right now. I love me some small engines. But with that, and my first thought is like, it would be cool if we just make a little room, put up a wall, and then we have plenty of place for barbecue grills, put away your chairs for the winter, pool floaties and whatnot. I think there's
322 square feet.
3 snow blowers, I see. 2 riding mowers, couple push mowers. But what I would do is like, I got my pool here. I can make use of this shed halfway through. Give me a chance to purge out some stuff that I don't need or want anymore. I don't think I would really need to build another structure, just personally. But then I'm also that is a lot of square footage over already. And I would personally try to make best with what I have versus the bigger purse theory.
We all learned something there.
Don't come my way.
Skip, did you have anything to add? Blair?
I agree. I mean, I just believe that given the criteria that we would use in evaluating the variance, in this case, most of those criteria are not met by this applicant. And I guess more specifically, it says, can the problem be resolved by some manner other than granting the variance? And I strongly believe that, based on what everybody has commented on, that's absolutely true.
Yes. I feel the same way, and is this variance substantial? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Does anyone have any other questions for Mr. Mitch? Okay, so we can move forward then. So if there's no further questions, the public hearing for application 2020-66 is now closed to the public. I will entertain a motion to approve variance 2020-66.
So moved.
Second.
Second?
All right. Heather, I guess the question is for the approval of the variance 2020-66. A yes vote is for the approval of the variance, a no vote denies the variance. Heather, please call the vote.
Ms. Gerald?
No.
Mr. Sweeney?
No.
Mr. Bowling?
No.
Mr. Hamilton?
No.
And Mr. Valente?
No. The nays have it, the variance has been denied. Please contact Heather at some point if you would like to appeal your decision this evening. Okay, next is variance number 2020-67. Timothy McName is requesting a variance from section 15.03A6 to allow for the construction of a second accessory building on a lot less than 2 acres in lieu of the maximum 1 permitted for lots less than 2 acres for the property located at 10424 Buckeye Road, current parcel number 08-A-032-M-00-002-0. Please come and state your name and address and confirm you've been sworn in.
Hi, my name is, can I take this down? My name is Tim McNamee. I live at 10424 Buckeye Road, Concord, and I have been sworn in.
Thank you. If you want to go ahead and kind of walk us through your appeal and what you're looking for.
Okay, I have existing, I actually had two existing structures, and I could not find a variance for the second structure anywhere. The structure that, if you're looking at this picture, I don't know if you guys have this or not. Yeah, that'll work. If you look at the house, directly behind the house is a pool, and then just to the west of that is a small shed. That shed was a 8 by 12, I believe it was. That I took down, it was falling apart. If you go further in back, you'll come to here, and there's a structure that was built prior to me owning the property. I believe it's 16 by 20, I believe. It's, for my purposes, it's useless. It's almost 200 feet behind the house. What I'm looking to do is up towards that pool where that shed was that I took out, put a structure in there that I could put toys in for the grandkids, the pool stuff, any of that. The lawn furniture was kind of crammed into that little 8 by 12 shed that I took down. Other than that, I'm just looking for that second structure, approval for that second structure.
I'm sorry, how big did you say the one in the back was already?
I believe it's either 16 by 20 or 20 by 20. I'm not positive which one it is.
It
Okay.
says 256 feet. And I'm right up. And you're right up, Mr. McNamee.
Would that be 20 by 24?
No, that'd be 400.
20 by 24 would be 400.
16 by 20 is 320.
I may have that square footage wrong. I believe the structure is 16 by 20.
And what do you keep in that structure in the back at this point?
I have in the past, up until hopefully I can get the variance for this. I've drug the lawn furniture back there and the riding lawnmower I throw back there, the lug splitter, that stuff I kind of just pack into there. Whoever built that, I don't know if they built that for like a little getaway for themselves or what, but it's kind of useless for what I need to have done. There's a natural runoff creek in front of that building, between the house and that building. And I have to drag everything over that creek to get to there.
But you want to still keep that building and build a new one?
Correct. I ordered the small shed where I proposed for the new building. That small shed was there, and I demolished that. It's gone.
So is it, I see the black rectangle here. Is that the proposed,
Yeah.
Mr. McNamee, right here?
Yes.
And that's, I think, is that what I think the other shed is right there?
Yes, right
Okay, and what was there, is that what was?
there. This big one. This is a trampoline, and that is just.
Oh, I thought that was the pool, my bad.
That's it. The pool is right here.
Gotcha, all right, and that's the old shed that you took
The
down?
old shed that I took.
Thank you, clear.
So you want to have two structures. Total square footage will be roughly 912 square feet. We're assuming the other one's 20 by 20.
The new structure is going to be 32 by 16.
Okay.
So that would be 512 square feet plus the existing.
Maybe we'll just assume it's 400 for now, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't imagine it's bigger than 20 by 20 looking at the picture.
This one has it a little bigger.
So you said the one in the back is kind of useless. You got to go over a creek and everything, but you're still going to use it?
It'll be used for, back there will probably be used for lawnmower, whatever else. For storage and for like kids, the grandkids and stuff to play in and stuff. Back there, I can't really tell the grandkids, hey, go back there to play, you know. I'd like to put the second one up in the front, closer for them to play and have their toys and stuff in there.
What is next to you here at Buckeye? What is that?
That's church. Church on the one side and residents on the other side.
Did you talk to any of your neighboring properties?
My adjoining neighbor I talked to, other than that, no. There's a lot of trees and stuff around there. If you look at the second page of the handout I gave you, all these little circles here are trees where trees are.
Do you have to clear anything out to build this larger shed? Are you cutting any trees down?
No, just the old shed.
Okay.
Is there a structure over here too? What is this? It's kind of hard to see. What is right here?
That is your, I put a little sandbox thing, it's like a 20 by 20 sand area for the kids to play in.
And this is a fire pit? You got a lot going on in your yard.
I tried it.
Skip or Todd, either of you have any questions? No.
So I guess, similarly with this case, is there some kind of something that's, a hardship that's preventing you from, making do with what you have?
Well,
It seems like a pretty big building back there, and you've been using it.
it is, and it's just a pain in the butt to use that building. It's almost 200 feet behind the house, over the creek. The grandkids are small. I don't want to send them back there to play.
They'd probably prefer playing in the woods then.
Well, they prefer riding the go-kart and stuff.
But how long have you lived in the house?
We bought the house in 2011, so 9 years. The structure in back, the existing structure, I believe, was built in 2001.
Blair, did you have any questions?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
I do have a question. Mr. McNamee, the shed that used to be there, you said it's been taken down?
Mm-hmm.
And how many square foot was that about?
That was an 8 by 12 shed, so 96 square feet.
Did we go over this already? Okay. Thought I missed something. About 100 square feet approximately. Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions, you can be seated.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here speaking for this appeal that'd like to come up? Is there anyone else speaking against this appeal that would like to come up? Okay, if there's no further questions, the public hearing for application number 2020-67 is now closed to the public. Can I have a motion to approve variance number 2020-67?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion for the board? Anyone want to start?
Well, I guess we need to, I think we need to look at the Duncan factors. You know,
Chris, can I interrupt if you let me,
Please.
just to establish some facts before we do that? And make sure that I'm correct in my thinking. That the two buildings that will be on the property, should this variance be approved, will equal 768 square feet.
I disagree. I mean, I don't think that square footage was maybe right on that back building. Might be a little bit bigger.
Okay.
I don't, that's why I said, let's just, maybe we can assume that it's 20 by 20 at the largest, or something smaller than that.
So that still puts us below what the individual square footage requirement would be.
Right.
Correct.
If we can agree on that. I guess that's the primary thing I wanted to cover, just to have that out there. And we'll hear what Chris has to say.
but it's two accessory structures.
Right.
Not one. You know, I guess we need to talk about, you know, how substantial this is.
The other thing I kind of, when I'm looking at the site plan, is that I just want to I try to take into account that the adjacent property is the church, and when you look at that adjacent property, you know, there's not only just a large building, but several structures over there too, and he's kind of positioned this adjacent, you know, not saying that this is the main deciding factor, but just take that into account. I think it's important to note that it's on that side near the church, not the residential property, you know, and it's even still, I guess, probably screened from the church with the vegetation too.
I did visit the property, and you're correct. There's heavy foliage and trees along that entire property line. So if you're in the church parking lot, you actually cannot see into the backyard
Okay.
of the house.
Todd or Skip? No.
No?
Do you wanna, maybe we should, if we wanna just go through the Duncan factors, I can read them off. We'll let folks comment. Will the property yield a reasonable return, or can there be a beneficial use of the property without the variance?
Did you say so?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Is the variance substantial? In my opinion, it feels like it's not, only because the square footage, you know, we were not looking at a much bigger square footage and two structures, and it's the two, so I don't know. I feel like it's not substantial, in my opinion.
I agree.
Agreed.
Will the essential character of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or will adjoining property suffer a substantial detriment if the variance is granted? Feels like a no.
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 Will the variance adversely affect the delivery of governmental services? No. Did the property owner purchase the property with knowledge of the zoning restrictions?
We don't know.
We don't know. I don't know if, I don't
Presumably
know.
no.
Did he say that in the letter? Can the problem be resolved by some other manner other than granting of the variance? Yes, I guess if you build one new one and tear down the old one, that'd be one approach.
Or you just keep using the old one.
Yeah, or just keep using the old one. Let's see, will the variance preserve the spirit and intent of the zoning resolution, and will substantial justice be done by granting the variance? I feel like it's still gonna preserve the spirit and intent of the zoning. I mean, I think the intent is that we're not, you know, impacting our adjacent properties with cluttering up, you know, with all these structures on a property. I don't know how everyone else feels about that one.
I guess I'd feel differently if there were maybe another residential lot right next door, but I guess at church, as being a commercial lot, it just kind of dulls it for me. I don't think it's really a big issue at all, being is that the church already has, looks like, one or two extra buildings themselves there. Kind of blends in, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Todd. I don't know about the other board members, but I don't weight the Duncan factors equally when I evaluate a variance. Some are more important to me than others that may not be a proper interpretation, but it's the way I do it. And substantialness, I think, is a big one. And the effect of the variance, if it was granted, on the character of the neighborhood is another big one, I think. And then I put another one in, whether anyone is complaining or disagrees or objects, and that's not present here. So that also I weigh that heavily as well. And none of that is really here for me. So I just don't think it's substantial. I don't think the character of the neighborhood, as Todd said, you've got the church right next door with a myriad of buildings and things like that. So it doesn't really affect it. It kind of almost is, in a way, consistent with it. So.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to add to what Skip said? Okay. The question then is on approval of variance number 2020-67. A yes vote approves the variance, a no vote denies the variance. Please call the vote.
Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Ms. Gerald?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mr. Valente?
Yes. Your variance has been approved. Congratulations. Okay. Next is the approval of minutes. Trying to figure out what those minutes from. For the approval of minutes from August 12th, 2020. I don't know if anyone has any questions or deletions or additions to the meeting minutes from there. And I think a few people here were not at that meeting, so that I'm sure that they will plan on abstaining.
I will abstain.
But is there any changes?
I have not.
Nothing. Okay. So then can I get a motion to approve the minutes as written from August 12th, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who's abstaining?
Abstaining.
Okay, the minutes have been approved as written. Our next meeting is on November 10th, 2020. The Concord Township Board of Zoning Appeals for October 14th is now closed.